Welcome to Notary Insights Live with Tech Amaku and Tiger Toledo. The show will be starting shortly. Thank you for your patience. Welcome to Notary Insights Live with Tech Amaku and Tiger Toledo. The show will be starting shortly. Thank you for your patience.
One, two, 1, 2. Check. Check me out right here, yo.
What up, B?
What up? Season finale, man. Yo, what is the deal? What is the deal? New Year's Eve, heck.
New Year's Eve, son.
I was gonna bring the bottle of Jack Daniels down here, man, and start my binge drinking. Oh man, how you feeling today, bro?
Yeah, man. Maybe you should start drinking early. Break out the bottle of tequila.
I gotta make sure the little one don't touch my Jack too.
Oh man. Yeah. Go easy on the bottle.
Yeah, bro. So I'm trying to kick him out, and then he keeps closing the door on himself.
See if I can pull up my New Year's Eve themed background.
All right, Tech Man. Hey, anything you want to start off with, bro?
No, man. I just want to say that this has been a great year, and it's the end of the year chronologically, but we're gonna keep it moving. We're gonna keep it pushing, and we're gonna always stay lit, stay fire. We're gonna and there's some topics that we're gonna touch on today. What a real second income looks like, what it actually looks like, and why most notary side hustles fail. So really want to put an emphasis on that. What a real second, what it looks like for a notary, somebody who wants to run a notary business. And then, we'll talk about why most notary side hustles fail. But this is something that you can use, not just because it's the end of the year, but you can use this at any point in time, whether you're starting off or whether you've been around for a minute. Tech and Tiger gonna always bring it.
Yes, indeed. So, bro, I want to do a bit of a recap of what we did this year, 2025. Take a wild guess how many shows we did this year. We did it weekly. There's 52 weeks in a year. How many shows do you think we did?
I'm gonna go with 40.
Very close, bro. 38.
38, okay.
38 shows, man. Just hitting them with non-stop piff. For those that don't know what piff is, that's paid in full. You could take it to the bank when we tell you. So, okay, in your opinion, what was the biggest show that we've done? I already know off the top of my head which show it was.
It had to be one of the more recent ones. I want to say the second to last one we did was really good. That was really good. But
What was the topic on, you know?
the topic was, it was advertising. We were talking about marketing and advertising, and the oh, what made it stand out to me was we gave examples of actual marketing, things that people could use to go out and get, secure business, as in people are contacting you. This is a highly needed industry, but
Yeah.
the hard thing is getting people to actually hire you. And because it's such an in-demand service, right? But most people think is that, I just become commissioned and now everything is going to be all good, and that's not the case. So we talked about a lot about that.
Yeah, I agree with you. The biggest episode, I believe, was the one that we did on advertising. When you were breaking down Google Ads at its finest core on what works for the notaries, what didn't work, what to stay away. Like, I know there are people that sell that content.
Okay, yeah.
I know personally because I've paid them to teach me that. And you gave it to them on that episode, and it was like, I don't know if it fell on deaf ears, if people moved on it, they even tried it out. I mean, like, how much were you telling them? $5?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? That's a small ass Starbucks coffee right there. That's an egg McMuffin right there, bro. To just simply test out. And the worst that would happen, the worst is that you would lose $5. The greatest thing that would happen would be that you get a few phone calls that net you $100+ each. That was one of my favorite episodes, bro.
Yeah, I
Second
gotta
favorite
agree, man.
episode I would say is the Halloween special. That shit was fun.
Oh, the Halloween special. Yeah.
Yeah. That was definitely fun, man. I had a lot of fun doing that. And the graphics on that was a lot of fun. Okay, so I got my next question to you, bro. Hard learning moments. What would you say in 2005 was a hard learning moment for you?
The hard learning moments. It would be making the transition from doing most appointments to doing zero. And what I mean by that is there are people who are remote online notaries, they're RONs, and then there's loan signing agents, notary publics. There's all these different varieties of people who work in the industry. And the one thing that I always stood on is that they always say that this is my notary business. I'm a RON, I'm a remote online notary, I'm a loan signing agent. This is my loan signing agent business, my signing agent business. But all you inevitably saw was them doing the work, them doing the hustle. And I'm talking about social media, right? I'm just talking about what people show us. But the hardest learning moment was not doing anything, no appointments at all, none, and outsourcing everything and learning how to make that transition. That would be mine.
Okay. I would say a hard learning moment for me was probably creating marketing for Sabrina. I've never done that was way out of my comfort zone to learn how to market software. And it was hard in the beginning just because I had no clue how people moved in the software business, right? But it was a lot of fun because we had a software that really helped people. It wasn't like some foo-foo type of software, just fun and vanity and stuff. This was like software that helped people make money, right? So when I started understanding, like, wow, like this ain't like regular marketing. This is like, this takes a lot of storytelling. And because we could easily say, oh, this person made $1,000 using the software, and it goes in one ear and out the other. But if you say, like, Janet was struggling with, juggling appointments, family life, her husband, and stuff like that, and at the same time she's driving, and sales calls are coming in, she's unable to drive, she has to pull over to the shoulder, and then you create this entire story around it. It sticks. And when I realized that, bro, it was a gangbuster. Gangbuster.
I see what you mean.
Yeah. That was a lot of fun right there.
Wow. I agree with you, man. That's powerful. And some people may not ever be able to relate to that, man. But that's not an easy task. How do you message a software?
Yeah, okay, let me ask you this question. What is, if you learned one skill in 2025, what is that skill that has like changed your perspective on how you approach this notary industry?
That skill would be shutting up.
What is it?
Shutting up, just shutting up. Listening. Okay. So listening, yeah. When people are, just listening to you talk sometimes, and hearing the gems that you will bring, and I'm talking like for people who don't know, like Tiger and I, we talk offline, constantly and
daily.
Sometimes, like even just like yesterday, for example, like you were kind of going off on a topic, and I just had to shut up. I just had to listen. I just got to take notes and listen and not break that stream of thought. You know what I'm saying? So when customers call, it's same thing. I gotta listen, stop talking, don't be in a rush. I used to want to get off the phone real quick because it was all about speed and time, and I wanted to be off the phone in less than 75 seconds. That was my goal.
Oh yeah, you was acing that stop clock, bro. I ain't even gonna lie. You would take a sales call, that stop clock would start from thank you for calling, like, and then by the time you close the deal, that stop clock would stop.
And I accomplished it too.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, what would make you want to change that model, right? Because we do understand that speed in this business is very important.
The opportunity to close at a much more higher and much more consistent rate. That would make me, instead of being so robotic, asking the 3 questions, who, what, where, and then close them, but give them an opportunity, because I already know what they need. Right? That's why it's so simple. That's why it's so easy. Everybody who calls us they all need the same thing. It's not like I need a red one, I need a medium one. Maybe I'll take 2 of them. They all want the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's easy to close them. It's not difficult at all. So it's really just me just kind of sitting back and just listening to what they say. And I'm like, all right, get to the point, get to the point. All right, where do you live? What time do you want to be there? Let me send you the link. So that was so robotic. And what I learned, and so the benefit of shutting up and just letting them talk, no matter how long it is, listen to it, right? You got the opportunity to, they're more likely to hire you. What I noticed is that people who come with the longer stories and then I just sit back,
Mm-hmm.
listening, yeah, they tend to, they, they care less about you being late or the notary running 5 minutes late, or they didn't get the receipt in the confirmation email. You know, those things don't really bother. The price, the
Yeah.
$360.87 for the 2 signatures, right? Because they just, what they were saying to themselves in their mind, it came out, and they realized how important it was that their husband and then their 18-year-old son would sign the amendments to the trust certificate. Like, that's to them verbalizing that, what was internal to them, and then them verbalizing it, that made them not care about how much it costs, and it
Mm.
made the sale so much easier. If I just don't be in a rush to get the answers out of them, who, what, where. Let me send you the link, but just let them talk. So I think that would be the value of just shutting up.
Solid. So one last one for the recap. Well, two more. I think is really really important. So Tech, how long have you been a notary now?
7 years.
7 years. Now,
I think.
Notary Inside Show came out last year, but we've been doing this game for a while. We did the Notary War Room. We've done quite a bit in this industry, wrote books, all kind of stuff like that.
Yeah.
What would you say in 2025 have been consistent across the board in your 7 years in this industry, bro? Like it's like the same issues, the same problems that notaries are facing from year 1 to year 7. What would you say the 3 most consistent problems are, bro?
Oh, I've given this so much thought. Let me turn my light on for this one, so you can see me for this one. This is what I would say: consistent across the board, all 7 years or however long. I think it might be 6 years, maybe 6 years, maybe even 5. I don't know, but who cares? This is what I've noticed, that what notaries tend to do is, like, their intention in the beginning is not what they come up with, is not what they later find out. It eventually is. Let me explain. Their intention is to build like a second income source. Or a third or fourth or whatever it is, but an additional income source. That's their intention. And to have a business, that's like their goal. And the reason why that fails, and I've seen this all throughout the years. I've seen people, and you know me, Tiger. I'll be watching, man. I'm out there. You know what I'm saying? What people do is they stack more labor, more work on top of more work, and they give themselves more exhaustion. That's what they're doing. They're not making it easier for themselves. They take. I just need more signings. That's all I need. I just need to get more signings. That's all I need. I'll answer all the phone calls myself. You know what I'm saying? I'll just do more networking. I'll just go out to more. I'll do more engagements. I'll go and build more relationships with people. And what they're doing unknowingly is that they're just stacking more work on top of more work, and that's only going to lead them to exhaustion. And people just and whenever you ask them, well, how do you make this a business? How do you make this actually, to where I don't burn out? And it requires you to do less driving, take less calls, and so that the success isn't directly tied to your like availability, Because if you're not available to take more signings, not available to answer more phone calls, or to go to all these networking events and go to all these conferences, like you physically, you have to be available to do that. And but that's tied directly to you not doing notary work. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's consistent across the board. All 7 years, people still haven't figured that part out. They think they have to do everything. I got to be the person that does everything, and people, and I'm saying very prominent people too. They still haven't. That's what's missing, and that's what we bring. That's the message that we tell. That's why That's why when people hear us, they instantly hear that it's distinctively different. Like, oh, what y'all talking about is different. Yeah, because we're saying don't do all that. Like, don't go to all these networking events, because that's just going to eventually lead you to to being exhausted. And that's why the notary world, is even though it's such an in-demand service, people struggle with it. They don't see the value in it because they feel like they're just, oh shit, I just gave myself a second job.
Yeah, it reminds me of so last night, me and my buddy London, we had a talk. We had a gentleman's bet, because we're doing day trading, right? And basically, it was by Christmas, whoever withdraws the most money has to buy the winning party a steak dinner, right?
Yeah.
He beat me by $3,000. So obviously his strategy worked, right? And it's a good thing. Even though I lost, it's a good thing because now he's going to teach me his strategy, and then I'll start winning. So that's a steak dinner I don't mind paying. But as to what you're saying, going to these conferences and stuff like that, we were talking about in day trading, there's a lot of these so-called symptoms and syndromes that are going on, right? And I explained to him, I said, bro, you got to be very careful with that because a lot of those symptoms or syndromes they're talking about, and I'll give you an example. There's something called revenge trading. Basically, if you were trading and then you lost, you want to get back and try to get your money back because you're angry and your ego is hurt and bruised and shit like that. I said, bro, a lot of that stuff that you're hearing, one, they haven't been clinically diagnosed. That's one. And then two, those are marketing ploys to get a person to think about like, oh my God, am I suffering from this? Oh, well, you need to take my course and I can show you how to solve that. That shit ain't real.
Exactly.
The notary industry is the same way. You have to be very careful in the groups that you join because a lot of them will have all of these fake ass symptoms and syndromes that notaries are going through. And then because you're surrounded by these people, a person like Tech and I look like freaking unicorns in this joint. Example, if you go to a conference and you link up with like 8 people, all 8 people are doing notarizations for less than $100.
Okay, I like where this is going.
And then you listen to Notary Insight Show, and me and Tech are talking about, yeah, we just did one for $350. We look like freaking like liars, dude, because you've been surrounded by these people that have self-diagnosed themselves. Man, don't work out too much because it might cause heart problems. What? Don't drink too much water. I heard it messes up your bladder. What, like, you know what I mean? It's information like that gets around. You have to be so diligent and very protective of the information, the energy, and the people you surround yourself because they can't make you do anything, but they can influence you over time. I can't make you do anything. But over time, if I have your ear, I will eventually convince you to see certain things my way. Notaries have to be very careful with the company that they keep. I say the most common, biggest problem I've seen in the notary industry, I've been in it for 8 years, is the pricing.
Okay.
They do not believe that they can charge what we charge, Tech, or even more than what we charge. They don't think outside the box. They're hung up on, I can't do that. Can't is a very strong word. I can never do that. Like, damn, never is a long time. You know what I mean? Like, do you even want to try?
Exactly.
Bro, when we crunch the numbers and people are doing the notarizations for like $75 or $50 a pop, and they say that, hey, I want to make $5,000 a month. Like, damn, dude, you got damn near do a hundred signings.
Yeah, and they're like, I'm willing to do it. That's what it takes.
And what's crazy is, if they took some of the advice that we gave them on pricing and stuff, because we have quite a bit of shows on the pricing and stuff, but if they took some of the advice on pricing that we had, they can cut that in half, Tech, and then cut that in half. 25 signings instead of 100, and achieve your $5,000 total. How would you like that? Versus it takes the same amount of energy, bro. And it hurts to see notaries go through that, because I know that they listened to some person that got in front of the camera, that just had the balls to get in front of a camera and start talking about the notary industry, and they spew. Not saying that they're spewing false information. They're spewing what their knowledge base can go up to.
That's a great point.
Right? So I'm not saying that the coach that you had previously before Tech and I are false and they're full of shit. I'm just saying that they haven't played in the field that we've played in. You're getting advice from a person. You're asking somebody about how to run a notary agency when they've never run a notary agency before. What kind of information do you think they're going to give you? It's most likely going to be negative.
Don't do that. You can't do that. You can't charge that.
I don't want. Yeah, I don't want to deal with employees and the chances of them making mistakes. They're going to be bitter about it because they've never leaped into it. Ask a person that doesn't know how to swim about swimming. They're going to tell you, nah, I never learned how to swim. It's too scary. You might drown in the pool. There's fucking 20 lifeguards in the goddamn pool, but they feel that there's a high possibility that they'll drown. Be careful of your circle. That's all I'm saying.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I like the connection that you made with you in London, and then saying that it's not a bad thing that you're just gonna, because this person, you have access to him and his information. Now you're just gonna use that information, and now and it's good information. And then that parallel to what people find out in the notary, people find out in the notary industry. Like, listen, let me. This person seems likable, so let me follow what they say. And then it turns out that this person is they may be engaging and maybe nice and might even be good looking, right? You for some reason you have a connection to them, but then it turns out 6 months, 8 months later, like nothing that they're recommending is either working for you, or what they're telling you, which in contrast to what you want to do, is just negative. It's not supportive. and it doesn't really make sense. Somebody's telling you, like, uh, you can't charge more than $15, or you can't get paid in advance. You must execute the appointment first and then charge them. Like, that's the right way to do it. That's the appropriate way to do it. See, people will say stuff like that, and then just because you were enamored with them, and all of a sudden, but that goes in direct, conflict with what it is that you're trying to achieve. It's like you can't break out of that because you're following something that just, what people say now, it doesn't align with my goals. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I can't really make somebody do something that they don't want to do. But that's why I think about influence, man. What in this year, what I've learned, what I've seen, is that if you, from the very beginning, if you had an idea in your mind, which was to have a notary business, and then a year later or 2 years later, it's not that, it's not, the problem may not be what it is. It may not be as obvious. Sometimes it's not just the information that is not working for you. Sometimes it's you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to understand what it was that you were originally going after when you started this.
Mm-hmm.
I always ask people, because people tell me all the time, "Oh, I just got my notary commission." I'm like, "Okay, cool. Was it hard?" I'm like, "Yeah, it was hard." I was like, "Now, what do you really want to do? Are you like trying to like quit your job? Are you trying to be a pillar in the community? Are you trying to make money? Are you just trying to help out a couple of friends here and there? Like, are you trying to get another job in a bank? What are you really trying to do? Because if you are not truthful about what it is that you really want to do, you'll always be confused. You'll never find the answer. And I think that most people want to make money. They don't want to do this just to, like, they don't want to admit that. They don't ever want to say that. And then that's why they give all these excuses about why they can't make more money, why they can't charge what they want to charge or what they think they should be worth. Oh, I know my worth. Well, we need to learn some negotiation. That's what it is. That's why people are turning you down. That's the reason why people aren't hiring you. It has nothing to do with them. It's you.
Yeah. So I put a couple of stats on there, Tech. Current stats right now. There's about 4.4 to 4.5 million notaries in the United States, which is actually moving up because the new generation is actually getting into this notary business, right? Now, there are 1.25 billion notarizations per year. Demand is massive, right?
Right.
Now, here, I want to emphasize on this because there are a lot of people that believe that the notary industry is saturated, right? It's congested. There's no business. I can't get any business. Now, Tech, you and I, you have 7 years, I have 8 years. How often do notaries not answer their phone?
It's endemic. It's fantastic, even, what I say. Yeah, I would say there's a 1 out of 12 chance that a notary will answer their phone. So that's less than 10%.
So if there are 1.25 billion notarizations, let's say every single notary answers the phone, every one of them. That leaves 3 appointments per notary, bro.
In the whole world.
For the whole
US.
year. No, yeah. Just the United States. We ain't even talking about the world, bro. Just the United States. That is 3 appointments per day. Per notary. Now, if it's true, which we know is true, that most notaries do not answer their phone, it takes one notary to not answer their phone, and that overflow carries on to the next notary.
Right.
That means in 10 days, if that one notary does not answer their phone, there are 30 notarizations that just floated onto other notaries. 30.
Wow.
Now, if you do that by $100 each, that's $3,000 right there.
Right.
Just because one notary decided not to answer their phone for 10 days. Now add 100 notaries to that. This is why I'm saying, like, this is what you guys are calling competition.
Right.
Would you look at a baby and say, that baby is going to put up a fight with me when I take their lollipop? If you believe that baby is going to put up a fight with you, you don't need to be in any arena. Because you know that you could just walk up, snatch the lollipop, and walk away, and if the baby want to cry, let the baby cry. This is what notaries are up against. Other notaries that don't answer their phone. Like, how easy is it to knock somebody out the box with that, Tech?
Man,
all you have to do is make no effort. None. And I win. You want to add to that, bro?
No, it's sad. It's sad, but it's the truth. We've proven it a number of times where we've done our mystery calls. We've done our sessions not public. These are not public, right? Because we are calling people, and sometimes there's information that's shared. So it's not public that we do this, but I don't have to convince anybody of this. This is undoubtedly true. And for the times that we have recorded or produced some type of content out of it, there's evidence. I mean, there's videos all throughout our social media that shows 15 times the phone rings, 15 voicemails, 15 no calls. And then about 2 people will try to call back, which I commend. They're attempting to recapture what was lost. But what we're trying to say is that shouldn't happen to begin with. That shouldn't happen in the first place.
Exactly.
Not in a local service-based type of business. See, this is all right. I'm gonna move aside the people who have the national science agencies for a second, or the multi-state. I'm saying for most notaries, you're probably operating out of your backyard, out of the 50-mile radius around you in your area. All right, a couple of counties here and there. So essentially, you're a local service-based business. For a local service-based business, answering your phone and not being dismissive is the pipeline. You're not making this, or you're making it challenging. You're not making it easy for yourself just by virtue of you not answering the phone. It's really that simple. Like that is it right there. And we've proven on countless times how people who are in this industry, they don't do that very one thing. And you and I have had these conversations, these discussions back and forth. What would make a person not do the most important thing to make them successful? Is it because they're afraid? Is it because they have this phobia of answering phone? They don't know what to say. They're unsure. They don't know what to charge. Like you were saying, pricing. They have never followed a script before. This is their first time doing anything outside of their own. They've never made money virtually online, so they don't know what to do. Why would somebody neglect not answering the phone? Why would they do something and cut their throats just like that?
Yeah. This game is very, very easy, ladies and gentlemen. You may have some people that tell you that this notary industry is hard. I'm here to tell you it is not. Tech, would you say it's easy or hard?
I would say a robot could do it. Now, be specific though. When we talk about this industry, because I think we have to make that distinction when we say that, because there's an educational side of it where you have to know what a trust amendment looks like, or people will say you must know what a refinance looks like. You have to know what these documents are. Therefore, if you don't know, if you don't overload on information and you don't know what this is, then you can't do it. And I would say that's not true. And that's why it's so simple, because you don't need to know that. So that's, to me, is the educational side. But the business side of it, the more operational side of it, a robot could do it.
My daughter, when she was 12 years old, was answering my sales calls.
Stop.
And closing deals. I would pay her for every deal that she closed. She was on commission. She didn't even know it. 12 years old. Thank you for calling U.S. Notary Agency. How can I help you? And she just went through the call script.
Wow.
I said, if my 12-year-old could do this, anybody could do it. There are people out there that are telling you that it's hard. It was hard for them. And maybe it wasn't even hard. And there are people that make money by complicating shit.
Yes. There's an industry for that, yes.
There's an industry of people that make really good money by complicating simple shit. And then there are people that can take very complex business models and simplify them, and they make a lot of money doing that. My experience in this notary business, this is the easiest business that I've ever been in my life, and I had at least 7 businesses. Today, I don't have a commission, and we're still getting notary orders in. And the reason why I don't have a commission is because I have more orders out of state than in my own state at this point. Wow. It's like, so the heck I need my commission for? And me and Tech collab on most of them. That's why I say, like, you don't need 8, 9, 10 people to run this business, man. Give me 3 hitters and it's a wrap. We're going to move like the Navy SEALs. The notary agency side is probably the most highest part on the food chain that you can be at. I don't know of anything higher than being the agency owner, Tech.
No, I don't think so. No.
The fact that you can dispatch multiple notaries, like you were mentioning the refinance documents, bro, you could put that next to another document. I wouldn't even know which is which. When it comes to real estate documents, I have no clue. Don't even care to learn them. Because all I need to do is find a notary that does know them.
Yes.
And I think that's another, this comes back to pricing, where that they believe the numbers that we throw out are fabricated or false, is because they're like, well, if I charge $50 to do a notarization, how can I afford to find a notary, dispatch them, pay them, and then pay myself? Well, newsflash, you can't.
No. You gotta charge higher.
Unless they charge lower than you.
Yeah. Now that could work. That's potentially Beneficial there if they
If
don't
you charge
actually
50
charge you.
bucks and they charge 25 bucks, okay, yeah, you just made a profit. But the reality of finding a thorough notary, I mean, a really good notary that you don't have to hold their hand and they're going to execute flawlessly to do it at your price, yeah, you're going to be hard pressed to find somebody like that.
That's an interesting circumstance that you described there. It's almost like a double-edged sword.
Mm-hmm.
You're almost forced to charge more if you want to run an agency, and that could be the reason why people avoid doing the agency side, because number one, they don't charge enough. They don't maybe they don't know how to increase their prices. They're not confident or comfortable with doing it and also closing those deals at those higher rates. So therefore, they're almost handcuffing themselves or putting that ceiling so that they can't even do it. But here's something along those lines that made me think. I want to ask you. It's almost a two-part question. All right. So let me ask you this: would you consider, would you agree or disagree that this industry is a low-skill barrier to entry?
Low skill.
Yes. So
okay, what's considered a high skills? Just so I know how to measure it.
And well, something that requires a degree for sure. Something that requires you to have some advanced training, maybe. I wouldn't go as high as to say engineer, but I mean that's definitely a high skill. But but that's obvious. I would say something that requires something that. All right, how about this? Because it's trash day. Well, how about this? Just a mail carrier. Would you say that would be something that
you said a mail carrier is high skill?
Carrier. No, I would say mail carrier is probably low skill.
Okay.
Just because it doesn't require, or not that to my knowledge, doesn't require a degree. I don't think it does, but it does require you to, be able to operate computers, right? And so I would say
your endurance got to be on point.
Oh, you're talking about physical? Yeah, that's true.
I get where you're going. Low skill, then.
Okay, yeah, I would agree. So because you can just sign up in some cases, some states you don't even need to take a test.
Nope. Well, Chicago for the longest you didn't need to take a test. They just implemented the testing this year.
Is it the whole state?
I believe it's Illinois. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So Chicago, they gotta get their money, bro. If they find out that California is doing something that they're not doing, and they're getting money, Chicago's gonna roll it out. That's just a fact.
Oh man, that's a different topic right there. California is gonna do anything to make money. Everything's so much more expensive here. Partly because the state doesn't have a ton of money, but it also has the economy here is a lot of high income earners here, but no one pays property taxes. So they got to charge you more for parking tickets and charge you more for sales tax. Like the sales tax in Southern California is 11%. Tomorrow, the new year.
Yeah,
I read an article. The sales tax is 11.25%.
Oh, you guys got to beat us. We had the highest in the country for like years, for like a decade.
What was it?
It was 10.25.
Oh yeah, that's high. Yeah, I thought.
Right, but they just announced it on the news early this morning. Illinois is going to pass 200 new laws, so we might be up there with the 11-something%.
11% is nuts.
Dude, it's corrupted as hell out here. Another politician is going to prison like today. I just saw him. This nigga cross-eyed and everything. This dude is like 70 years old. He's about to go to prison for taking bribes. Like the last 2-3 governors here in Chicago have been in prison. Like
lock them up.
This is Chicago, bro. Chicago. They don't play. Yeah, low skill, bro. Low skill. Okay. If part-time, people are doing this thing part-time.
I just see a connection here.
Full-time job.
To me, the fear of people being in the highest bracket of charging. It's just because you may not have ever been exposed because it's such a low barrier of entry here. Anybody could do it. So therefore, you get this concentration of people who might not have a degree. Maybe they didn't even graduate high school. But then you also get a combination of people who are very professional. They've worked in the mortgage industry for years or banking industry for years. Maybe this is their first time ever making money on their own independently outside of any other type of job. So therefore, they come with these fears that it just doesn't line up. It's not following the universal laws that applies to business. And what I mean by that is you attract the lead, you secure the transaction, whatever industry it is, and then you delegate the work. Like that principle, you have to have a customer. If you don't have any customers, then what are you doing? Like you got to be fulfilling something. So that's number one. And then you got to have some type of machine or some type of mechanism process to capture those people who are out there looking for what it is that you do. And then you have to deliver it. Like these three things apply across the board. And because it's such a low skill entry, it may not. I mean, I'm not even intellectualizing it. I'm just saying like that. If you're not even aware of that, and you just walked into this industry, you just skipped in here because something else didn't work out, or you got terminated, like I did in my case, or you heard about this from your hairdresser or something, and now all of a sudden you're not following some of the rules that are universal. Therefore, you don't have a good experience, and therefore you don't charge. You charge $50, and then you try to run an agency and not realizing that you got to charge more. So it's just something that stacks on top of all these deficiencies that stack on top of each other. But it all comes back to, well, anybody could do this. Anybody with a camera could do a YouTube channel and talk about their experience, but not realizing that. My point is this: when you gotta start asking people who they are, like who are you, like who, where'd you come from, where'd you graduate, who'd you learn from? Number one, like people don't be revealing where they got this information from, right? That was a big problem. It still is. And why should I listen to you? So I would from 2026, my advice would be to people. Listen, you gotta realize anybody can come in here and just make up a YouTube channel and just start talking, just saying anything, any old thing.
That's a fact. It's open to everybody, right? The internet is open to everybody, open for criticism, open. It takes no effort to create a YouTube channel. It's very low barrier, right? Low barrier. Real quick, Empress Clark said, I would like to book a call with you guys. I've worked with you guys in the past. Come through. Empress Clark.
Empress Clark.
You gotta see a matter of fact, we got a couple of quick announcements. By the way, today's show is powered by Sabrina AI. Answer your calls. She books your calls and allows you to grow. Check out Sabrina AI. Even notaries need a team. So we got a quick announcement. Check this out, Tech. We haven't done this in a very long time. We are rolling out the Notary Business Breakthrough webinar. It is a 3-day live interactive workshop where we're going to cover the foundation that you need for 2026 and beyond. That we're not giving you foundation of 10 years ago. There's a lot of things that's rolled out since then, Tech. There's AI in this joint. Why would we teach you how to build a foundation before AI? So it's completely different the way I would build my notary business now, Tech, with all the technology that's available, with Sabrina and all of that stuff is very different than the way I did 8 years ago.
Absolutely. It cannot be the same.
We're also going to cover some marketing where you get customers to call you. You get customers to chase you instead of the other way around, looking like a beggar.
Nobody's talking about that either, man. I just want to make that point. Everybody is regurgitating the exact same thing. How do I get more marketing? You got to print out 1,000 business cards and hand them out. That's what everybody says. And believe me, I know because I look. And if somebody's out there telling something different and I don't know about them, then point them out to me. But I'm confident saying that we're the only people talking about how to attract real customers so that they come to you, not the other way around where you're spending a whole tank of gas driving around the city and maybe one person calls you and you end up missing the phone call anyway. So what was that all for? What was it for?
Yeah. And for those that don't know what that is, you're basically a street team.
Yeah.
You're doing some old ass shit like being a street team. We might as well give you posters and a stapler. And you go on all the big light poles on major streets and you put big ass notary posters on these light poles with your poster and stapler. How do I know this? Because I used to be part of a street team.
Who wasn't, right?
Going to your favorite Chinese restaurant, throwing a bunch of business cards and flyers in there, going to your favorite rib place, your barbecue rib place, putting business cards and flyers and going into a business that don't know you from a can of paint, introducing yourself. Look, man, marketing has changed, fam. In case you didn't get the memo.
Yeah, Brian, this is not 1998.
Come on, we got to bring you up to speed. Next thing we'll cover is sales. So when a person does call you, how to close a damn deal. How to give the price and be very confident at it. Go ahead, Tech.
Listen, if you stop answering your phone for 48 hours, this is the only question I have to ask you. And this is how you know if this is for you. If you stop answering your phone for 48 hours, would your business continue to make money? If the answer is no, then you know where you need to be.
Yeah, absolutely. And that goes right into the next thing that we're going to cover is automation. You think you need to answer all the phone calls? No. You think you need to send reminders and confirmations? No. This is a different era now, y'all. You would like I can't even explain it, man. We live in a different era. Like the way of doing business has changed. I told the story before. I had a membership to Scentbird. Love Scentbird. I get designer fragrances for a fraction of the cost, and they send me a new fragrance every single month. When I signed up, I got all of these cool ass emails and I got text messages and stuff like that. That's not a person sending all of that. That's all automated.
Yes.
Confirmations, letting me know that they shipped out my Dolce and Gabbana fragrance, and you know what I mean? Like, it's all automated. They're sending me specials, Christmas specials, New Year's specials, BOGO offers. All that is automated. You can have all of that running in the background, and it looks like your business is ran by a 20-person team. But it's really that you took the time out to automate it and have the business run itself. And like Tech said, if you stop answering your phone for 24, 48 hours with automation, yeah, your business will still make money. And the last one is scaling. This is where we teach you how to build a notary agency.
Yeah, can I speak on this one real quick, man?
Absolutely.
Yeah, this one is important. The scaling one is important. Do you want a second job or do you want a second income? That's what it comes down to. You have to ask yourself that: do you want a second job or do you want a second income? Well, Tech, what's the difference? How can I make that apply to myself? When what Tiger just said is this is where we show you about the agency. See, most notaries, and we've talked to a lot of notaries over the last years, all over the place, and most are trying to build a second income, not a second job. And this is where the mistake happens. This is where you go left and you should have veered right. And now you're miles down the road. Damn, now you're figuring out, damn, well, I'm too far. Let me just keep going. No, cut your losses. Go the other way. It's shorter and it's faster. And it's probably the destination where you were wanting to go instead of somewhere where now you're lost. A second income versus a second job. This is where the scaling part comes in, where you are now expanding and you're removing yourself from being the person who is having to manually or physically do every little part. In other words, if you don't do it, it doesn't get done. There's no way. If you don't respond to the email, it doesn't get done. You don't answer the phone, doesn't get done. If you don't execute the appointment, doesn't get done. So that we're trying to. This part, the scaling part, is the most important part.
Yeah, for sure.
Second job. Which one do you want? Which one were you originally trying to get?
You don't want no second job.
No. You weren't. That's not. And like I said, this is why we can close so easily, because it's like we know that's not what you were trying to do, but all this information out here, that's what. Unfortunately, I'm afraid to say that's where it has led you to. But that's that's not what you were trying to do. No.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
I had to throw her in there because they are walking into that trap. A lot of them don't realize it, right? I talk about the story where I went into Staples. It was either Staples or Office Max, and I'm looking at boxes of paper, and I'm looking at labels, colorful fluorescent labels, and staples and paper clips and folders that I would try to make my job easier. And I was like, wait a minute. I stopped myself in that store and I said, I am creating a job for myself at this point. That's not what I want to do. I don't want, matter of fact, and it was one of these hard things to overcome, Tech. I had to say to myself, I don't want reams of paper in my house.
You just that bluntly. Like, I want y'all to hear that.
That was hard because it took a mindset shift. I said, I do not want these Post-its. I do not want these staples and manila folders. I do not want to go to FedEx and grab a stack of folders, shipping labels and folders, and store them in my bag. And then when I open my briefcase, you see FedEx folders and shit at the top. That was me, bro. That was me. I said, if I want to be a boss, I have to do what bosses do. And it's not an ego thing. If you want to think it's an ego thing, I could care less. But most bosses have egos, and they have to hold themselves to a certain light. Otherwise, they'll be at a board meeting talking to shareholders, and in the next minute, they're cleaning out the toilet.
Yeah.
If you think the CEO of Disney is cleaning out toilets, somebody lied to you. His time is better spent closing big deals, and so is yours. So if you guys would like to participate, in this Notary Business Breakthrough. It's on January 7th through the 9th. It is a 3-day intensive workshop. It is live. Scan that QR code. It'll take you to our landing page. You can read the details on there. If it looks like something that you want to be a part of, you know what to do next. You know what to do next.
Yeah, I just want to remind you all, people got into this notary quote unquote side hustle because on paper it looks so productive and it looks like it's in demand. And those things, although they are true, the real reason that people who you saw years ago are no longer around, or people who are, quote unquote influential, but you never see them talk like we talk, is because they have because they're probably running low margins. In other words, they're not charging enough. In other words, to take home enough. There's not much of a buffer there. They have a heavy demand on their time. They're doing everything. You don't hear us talk about you doing everything. You hear us talking about outsourcing all of that stuff, and outsourcing it to a single under one roof operation, so that you're not piecing together these fake systems where these softwares are not communicating with these other softwares. And to me, that's the real trap, is because on paper this industry looks so well, it looks nice and it looks good, and all these people are buying these houses, and you can just go be their closer, you can just go close their loans. I mean, surely people are buying houses where you live, right? All you have to do is sign up with these signing services, and all these different people will just send you out. And that's just really not the case. That's not how it really expresses itself when you do it. And if you're feeling like that's what I was told, but that wasn't my reality, then this is absolutely where you need to be. 100%. You built yourself a second job, stacking labor on top of labor on top of labor. You never learned how to, build a machine that does the work for you. So enough of the learning. It's time to start doing more earning, right?
100, bro. So we're at the top of the hour, ladies and gentlemen. We hope that you have a very, very safe and fun New Year's. If you would like to request a demo to see Sabrina in action, check out this QR code that pops up on your screen right now. Scan that QR code. It'll take you to our demo page. And if you would like to participate in our Notary Business Breakthrough, you can scan this QR code right up here. Tech, any final words, brother?
Yeah, I mean, you can still scan the QR code, but there's a link. I put the link up there.
Okay.
So yeah, if you go to that link right there, that'll sign you up for the Business Breakthrough. Yeah, pull that up right there. Yeah, MBB Notary Business Breakthrough.heysabrina.ai. If this QR code thing, people are having trouble with the QR codes, I realize. So sometimes they just want the link.
And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, Happy New Year's. We wish you guys a very, very prosperous 2026.
We out.
As a business owner, you're juggling a lot, and managing phone calls can quickly become overwhelming.
That's where Sabrina, the AI voice automation that turns calls into clients, comes in. Imagine having a reliable 24/7 assistant that never misses a call, handles routine questions, schedules appointments, and directs important calls to the right people, all without needing a human touch.
This frees up your team's time to focus on what really matters, saves you money, and ensures every customer gets a consistent, professional experience. It's like having an extra set of hands, so you can focus on growing your business, not just managing calls.
Scan the QR code to book your free demo today.